Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to RemyFIT Radio, where you can learn my philosophies on health, performance, and lifestyle optimization that I have learned from the years of experience as a health and performance coach. I'm your host, Brandon Remy, and let's get into it. And we're live.
Wow.
We're here today with Ryanne Kudla, Optimally Fit, right, on Instagram.
Right on my shirt, too.
Oh, look at that.
Got my
Sweet.
merch on.
Today we're just gonna come in here and talk a little bit.
Amazing.
Yeah, we were actually just talking about fasting and
Diet,
functional. What do you call it? Functional nutrition, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Let's give you your backstory first. So how did you get into fitness? What really sparked that interest, and what did you think fitness was when you got into it?
I've been the fitness person my whole life. I grew up as a competitive gymnast for 18 plus years, so I was always the little kid with biceps walking around. So fitness has been a huge part of my life forever. I luckily had an amazing coach and mentor, the same coach since I was like 5 years old, who is very much into, the functional fitness, functional movement, functional nutrition. And he really set the tone for everything that I do in my business and everything that I believe in. So it really started with him. But like I said, I was a gymnast my entire life. So that alone just like puts you at a whole nother level in fitness, just because I was training like 6 hours a day for like 6 days a week my entire childhood.
Yeah. When did you start gymnastics?
When I was 2.
Wow.
So literally from 2 years old till now, I've been training. When I stopped gymnastics and went into college, I didn't know what to do with myself anymore because I was like, I don't have gymnastics anymore. It's
a hard transition.
Yeah, I didn't do gymnastics in college because I had some back injuries. So then that's when I got into like the weightlifting side of things, and I took a weightlifting class and I just completely fell in love with it. So I think fitness when in gymnastics looked a lot different than fitness in college and in the weightlifting room. In gymnastics, you don't lift up a single weight ever. It's all body weight stuff. So I didn't know how to lift at all. So the weightlifting class I took in college was like huge for me. Taught me how to lift. I already had really good body awareness and like body mechanics. So it was really easy transition to like learn how to do a deadlift and learn how to do a squat. Like it all came naturally to me.
Does their technique in gymnastics like mimic or transfer over pretty seamlessly to weightlifting?
Oh, yeah.
It does.
Yeah, and that's why I felt like called to do this almost, because it's such a natural feeling to me to move correctly and even see like my clients move, and if they move the wrong way, I can very easily explain how to put them in the right form, because my whole philosophy around training is training with purpose and training functionally and making sure that you're doing movements that mimic the movements you do in everyday life, and just perfecting form, because if you're not doing form right, there's no reason to be doing it at all. You're going to hurt yourself. And that was a huge thing in gymnastics, that the functional fitness piece just to prevent injury was huge. So that's something that I also really emphasize. And so many people are injured and walking around with chronic pains. So I think learning and teaching people how to move correctly and let it transfer to their everyday life was like the most important thing. So yes, to answer your question, I definitely feel like gymnastics taught me how to really perfect people's forms, my own form, and it definitely transferred over really fast.
Is there anything that maybe hindered you? So for example, like I've taught some like ex-dancers in the past, right? Where like in dance, you're taught to point your toes, right? But like in strength and conditioning world, like we want to pull our toes to our shins, right? To create that total body tension. So like I've noticed that whenever somebody points their toes, I'm like, oh, were you a dancer? And then like 9 times out of 10, they're like, yeah, how'd you know? So is there anything gymnastics related like
Definitely.
that kind of messes you up maybe?
A lot of gymnasts have a super posterior tilt in their back. So a lot of people when they squat, a lot of gymnasts when they squat, you can see their
butt
really,
wink.
a very big, either butt wink or just like a very big arch in their back, which could lead to a lot of lower back pain. I have a herniated disc and a bulging disc. And that was actually the turning point to my fitness, because I was in so much pain at like 19 years old. I couldn't even walk.
Yeah.
And I was the person who was always training, always lifting, always strong. And then not being able, I couldn't work out for like over a year.
Yeah, I was in the same boat.
Yeah, at 19 years old, I was like, this is not normal. This can't happen to me. Like, I'm athletic, like I'm strong, like this is what defines me. Yeah. Which also is an issue, because you don't want to be defined by something that could easily be taken away from you like that. Right. But I literally fixed myself through movement and strengthening the parts of the body that needs to be strengthened in order to stabilize your spine. So that totally changed my perspective on, I can do this for everyone else too, and help people get out of chronic pains by just moving properly. So with, I was doing a lot of glute work, a lot of ab work. I mean, I already had a really strong ab from gymnastics, but strengthen the right parts of my abs and bracing. Yep. All of those things, like the posterior tilt, learning how to have a nice straight neutral spine when I was squatting, it was huge. And just watching videos and videos and videos of myself. Kelly Surratt, he's the man. Yes, he's the best. So many videos by him, just corrective exercise stuff that really helped. But once I fixed my back pain, I never had a flare up again. That's good. Luckily I was young when it happened, so hopefully I won't have another flare up. But when you have a disc issue, that never goes away. Yeah. So if you stop training, then those things can obviously come back. And that's one of the things that I try and reiterate to all my clients, because just because we get you out of a flare-up now doesn't mean you're done and healed for good. Right. You have to continue strengthening it and keeping strong, or else you're going to continue hurting yourself. Right. We're always moving. You're not just going to. Backwards. Yeah. So it's very powerful what you can do with movement. But I slowly started to realize, I mean, I've been lifting around like the same way for probably 6 years now. I do more of like CrossFit style, functional fitness style workouts, which I loved. But I also developed a gluten allergy in college. And that was really the starting point to this healing journey that I'm on now, that I would love to dive more into. Yeah, definitely. And I never actually got fully diagnosed with the gluten allergy, but I took gluten out of my diet and felt completely better. So the only way that you can really differentiate between a true celiac disease or just a gluten allergy would be to get an endoscopy and colonoscopy. And I was like, it's so funny because I'm like the health freak, but like I have the worst like white coat syndrome, they call it. Like I'm afraid to go to the doctor, and I'm sure that's why I'm like so into health and fitness, because I'm like, let me prevent everything that I can possibly to go there. Yeah. So I didn't want to go that route, and I was like, I feel better this way with not eating it. So I treat it as if it's a true celiac disease. Yeah. And I haven't had like willingly. Sometimes you have it on accident. It's in things that you would never even realize, like soy sauce. I was just going to say soy sauce. That was like the biggest thing that like no one knows that wheat and gluten is in soy sauce. But yeah, so I haven't had it in 4 years, and I believe I developed it because of college. So I had a very stressful college. I'm just like not a naturally gifted student, so I have to work really, really hard. Yeah. So in high school, I was like a B student. In college, I was like a 4.0 student. Like, really? I pushed myself really hard. I was like, I'm not going to be that person that's like just passing by like I did in high school. Like, I had gymnastics, and I think that was a big contender of my grade slipping, just because that was my focus. And in college, when I didn't have that, I was like, okay, I'm making school my priority. And I was on track to go to OT school. And I decided that I didn't want to do that. After like putting the pieces together later on, I truly believe I got this gluten sensitivity from being so stressed out at college. So I was like, do I want to do that to my body again and do this like crazy master's program, like 3 years of hardcore studying? And I just like at that time, I didn't feel ready to do that. So because of all of the things that I've had with my stomach, with the gluten, I've been eating gluten for how many years? I had definitely some dysbiosis, they call it, which is the unbalanced bacteria in your gut. And just impairments from eating gluten so many years. So if you have a gluten allergy, which many people do and don't even realize it, I think they say it's like 70% of the population has a gluten allergy and they don't realize it. You can get a blood test and you could have true celiacs and it not show up in a blood test for 7 years.
Wow.
So even if I got all the testing done, which is why I was so against it, because I was like, I'm not going to put my body through that when I feel better without eating it.
Yeah.
So because I was going so many years with eating gluten, it essentially deteriorates your intestines.
Right.
So since you don't have like the villi in your intestines, which helps absorb all the nutrients you have in your body and help break down and digest all your foods, mine were essentially none. So if you were eating things that were bad for you, or you didn't, or like you're sensitive to, because if you have one sensitivity, you most always have more sensitivities. Yeah. So because of that, and my pivots in life and just normal life stressors, we live in a very stressful time.
Yeah.
This past year, I've had a lot of issues with my stomach, and you asked me this before we sat down and started recording, but where did, my thought process of fitness and wellness, how did it develop and how did it become to what it is now? A year ago, I would have had a totally different perspective. And now with all of my health and healing journey, it's completely changed and I'm so passionate about it. And I feel like just telling my story will help other people not have to go through
100%
everything that I've gone through. And Bree, your girlfriend, is a huge example because I'm helping her through this process too. Luckily, she wasn't as extreme as I was. And she literally felt better 2 weeks after working together, which is awesome. And that's like the goal of mine. But yeah, like my philosophy on wellness was always, balance and, eat clean when you can, but like you don't want to
the 80-20
deprive yourself. Yeah. But I've noticed that that is not the case for the general public. If you're a healthy individual, sure, that could be definitely the perspective that you want to go and the philosophy you want to go. But doing all this research, and I'm in a functional nutrition coaching course now, with like the top of the line functional medicine practitioners in the world. They drilled into our head that 88% of our culture and America is metabolically unhealthy. So the majority of us aren't in that healthy category.
Yeah.
So when you're viewing it from that standpoint, that most of us are actually not healthy, that balance, that 80-20, like you said, goes right out the window.
Right.
Most people can't view a life of balance because most people are on that deep end of chronically ill.
Yeah.
And this could be, you might not even realize it. It could be happening at a very low grade inflammation systemic level that you don't even put the pieces together until it's too late. So something like me, celiac disease is an autoimmune disease. I didn't realize any of this was happening until I literally could not do life anymore.
Yeah.
And how to have a true autoimmunity, you need to have 90% of whatever organ that you have that autoimmunity in. So for me, it would be my intestines. You have to have 90% of your intestines eroded or inflamed or gone, essentially, to be considered a true autoimmunity.
That's
which
crazy.
90%, that's like, you're not going back from that.
Right.
Like you can't recover from 90%.
Yeah, it should be like maybe 30%.
Yeah,
not
even
to
50. Yeah, so
that's crazy.
It's mind blowing to me. So most people are walking around with all these chronic illnesses and not even realizing it. People walking around with fatigue or headaches or acne, insomnia, like can't sleep, low energy, like all of those things are huge warning signs that you can probably talk to any one of your friends today and they'll say one of those.
Definitely.
Or even more of
or
those.
All of them.
Yeah, or all of them. A lot of people have all of them. And that's just viewed as normal now.
Yep.
And that's not normal. And you go to the doctor and they're not worried about it. And they're like, here, take this pill, or here, get this test done. And for me, I went to gastroenterologist, and I've always been super against going to conventional medicine, but when I was this sick and I was about to lose my insurance because I was about to turn 26, I was like, I'm taking advantage of every doctor I possibly can.
Yeah.
So I was that desperate. And I was kind of doing it to just appease everyone around me because everyone around me is like, just go to the damn doctor. So I went that route just to, check it off the list. But I knew subconsciously it wasn't going to be the option for me. And that probably was another reason why it didn't work for me, because I already went in there knowing that it wasn't going to work. But he went in there and he said, oh, you have IBS. And I was like, the definition of IBS is actual bullshit. So I know enough about IBS that I'm not taking that as a diagnosis. You might say that I have IBS, but that's not the root cause, and that's not what's going to cure me.
It's kind of like piriformis syndrome. It's a cluster of symptoms.
Yeah,
and then,
exactly.
Oh, you have IBS. You know?
And IBS looks different in everyone. And just because you and I have stomach issues doesn't mean it's caused by the same thing.
Yep.
And the definition of syndrome is the medical field saying we don't know what causes it and how to fix it, so we're just going to label it this.
Yeah.
Which to me is a huge issue in itself.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So I went to the gastroenterologist. He basically put me on Iprolox, which is an antacid or helps with acid reflux. And I was like, I don't even have acid reflux. Why are you giving me this? And he was like, oh, it's going to help your stomach. And I was like, I'm not taking this. Like, no, thank you. And he's like, well, you have to get colonoscopy and endoscopy. And I was like, no, I'm not getting that either. Like, what has led you to think that I need to get that?
Right,
I have no warning signs of, like, if I had blood in my stool or something, like maybe. But I had no warning signs besides upper left quadrant stomach pain, and, like, can't eat anything. So I went to a functional nutritionist, and she was, like, the most helpful piece of the puzzle. She got a bunch of blood work done, and I got a bunch of blood work through my gastroenterologist, but it was very basic, like, just a comprehensive metabolic panel that just tells you, like, your white blood cell count, your red blood cell count, things like that. We noticed that I had elevated liver enzymes, and he not once told me that I shouldn't have alcohol. Now, me knowing enough, if you have elevated liver enzymes, you probably shouldn't be putting toxins in your body, and alcohol is a toxin. So I knew not to do that, but he never told me. Like, what if, my mom, who knows nothing about health, got the same thing done and realized, oh, I was not supposed to be drinking alcohol. Meanwhile, she was drinking a glass of wine every night. That could have exacerbated her symptoms even more. So that was another thing that I was like, are you kidding me? You didn't tell me not to drink alcohol, even though I already knew.
Didn't help you out there.
Yeah. And so my functional medicine practitioner put me on a bunch of vitamins, and then my gastroenterologist said that was the reason I was having stomach pains. And I was like, I wasn't taking any of these vitamins before, so I don't think that's the case. Yeah. And like a month later, my stomach was feeling better from taking the vitamins.
Did you tell the doctor?
Oh, yeah.
You did?
And I was like asking him a bunch of like research paper articles, like, I was on birth control for 7 years, and I was like, oh, I've read an article like that there's research of correlations between birth control, like chronic birth control usage, and stomach pains. And he was like, there's no valid research in the literature that that's true. And I was like, I have it right here. You want to see it? He's like, no, I don't need to see it at this time. I was like, okay.
I'll email to you.
Yeah. So I just really... it just solidified all of my reasonings as to why I don't like the conventional approach to medicine. I also was in there for a total of like 7 minutes, maybe if that, and made eye contact with him maybe once. Yeah. Where my functional nutrition practitioner, I'm with her for at least an hour every time.
That's awesome.
And she does a full, it's snowing.
Yeah, I just realized that.
She does a whole workup. She has a whole huge intake form that took, it was like 10 pages. Like, she looks at you from a whole person perspective from the moment you were born to now.
See, I think that's one thing where you can go right into, whether it be a doctor's or even a personal trainer or a functional nutritionist. Like, I think the assessment is what really differentiates like a really good doctor, personal trainer, nutritionist from a really bad one. Like, you have to have an assessment. Like, I mean, I'm sure you've heard this, right? If you're not assessing, you're guessing. Yep. So like, and that's one thing in the 023 program. We have this whole new assessment where it's a lifestyle assessment, right? It's called the Look Lifestyle Outlook something calculator. And excuse me, I can't stop coughing today.
COVID.
Yeah, COVID. And it's just like, it's very in depth and detail. Like, it goes into like, one of the questions that are on the assessment is, do you do you use your phone in the bathroom?
Oh, I
and
saw
people
that.
are like,
yeah.
what the fuck? Like, why does that even matter?
But this is so powerful.
Yeah, it's 100%. And like, it's just like, it goes into your sleep. It goes into everything. It's so in depth and in detail. And I mean, I've given it to some of my clients that I've been working with for a couple of years, and they're like, they're blown away by like how in depth it is. But then they're also like, why do I need to do this?
Yeah.
You know? But then, of course, when I explain like what it allows me to see into their life,
Yeah,
it's
wait,
like,
explain that. Explain the bringing the phone to the toilet. I forget what it is. It's like if you can bring your phone into the toilet, you're bringing it everywhere, or like you're using it too much, kind of a thing.
Yeah, you're just, you know, like, so another thing is like, do you eat in peace, or are you sitting on Instagram scrolling and then also eating? You know, it's like, allocate that time to eat, not just, you know, to eat, to make a post on Instagram, to check emails, like, because now you're not eating.
Yeah.
You're doing a whole bunch of other things.
And think about that. Like, that was a huge thing when I was healing too, is I was the same way, running in between clients, just shoving food in my mouth. And I love my water. It's all I drink. And when I'm eating, I would take a bite of food and instantly pick up my water and drink it. Now, I always thought, I was like, oh, it's healthy to drink water while you're eating. Like, it helps fill your stomach up. But I was thinking about it, and like, when you sit with yourself and really like analyze how you do things, I was putting food in my mouth and drinking water to swallow it easier and like just get the food down faster.
Yeah.
So just making that analogy. So now, and it's a really hard struggle for me not to eat and drink because I'm just a thirsty person. And I like love eating like salty foods and like whatever. And I used to eat spicy foods a lot. And all of those things are like reasonings and showings of like why I could have had such stomach issues, because I was just, like you said, not paying attention.
Yeah.
Like, they tell you to chew things like 100 times before you swallow it.
Right.
Which
like, nobody does that.
No one does that. And I don't do that. But I definitely am like more mindful, and I don't have a sip of, or I try not to have a sip of water when I'm eating.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, so just one thing about the water. I heard this like a long time ago. I don't remember where or if I read it. Maybe it was a podcast, and I don't know how true it is, but it's like, it seems valid. Where it was something about like ancient Chinese medicine and how they don't drink water. They don't drink cold water.
Yeah.
They drink hot teas. They drink like, you know, lemon water that's hot, because their thought process is that if you like, so say you're eating fat, right? Like if you're eating bacon, like you have bacon grease or butter or something, so that's now in your stomach. If you go and pour cold water, it's gonna solidify like in your stomach. So I don't know how true that is, but it sounds like it totally makes sense, 100%. And you know, like the ancient Chinese philosophy, like they're very healthy throughout their whole life. You know, even if you see like an older, like, you know, Asian person, they look like they're fucking, they look very wrinkly, but they look like
they're like the pretty, like they look better than I do when they're like 80 with like gorgeous skin. And
it's just, so I don't know, like I don't even know where to find, like,
well, a lot of those blue zones that we were talking about earlier, which is like the longest living humans are in these zones.
Yes.
A lot of them are in Japan and
Centarians.
Yep. Centarians.
There's one in California.
There's one in California,
Korea,
Japan.
Greece.
A lot of them are in Italy.
Yeah,
and
Italy,
the
Greece.
way they eat are all, you know, pescatarian, Mediterranean type diets.
Yep.
And usually very heavy fat and lots of warm cooked foods.
Yeah.
So that goes hand in hand. Ayurvedic medicine, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but those philosophies are aligned with that protocol you were just saying, eating lots of warm foods. And it makes sense. And that's
broth, stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's what me and Bree have been doing with our diet protocols. Everything has to be cooked. And that's what I kind of wanted to segue into, because you think of health. A few years ago, I would be eating raw. Like all in college, I was the girl with my raw celery, my raw carrots, my raw cucumbers, like raw salads, like just grilled chicken, raw everything, which is like great. Like if that
better
works
than the
for
standard
you,
diet.
yeah, if that works for you, that's awesome. But I'm realizing, because I had that autoimmune disease, the gluten allergy, and I was so compromised with my stomach then, eating raw probably killed my stomach, because my stomach was just working even extra now to break all those foods down. Not to mention the binge drinking and all the other things that college gives you that's not good for your gut. But I've realized now, and that's a big thing that I try and stress to my clients and just the general public, is healthy food doesn't look always the same from person to person.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how everyone's health outlook should be.
Right.
So individualized. And like for me, I can't eat salads, like raw salad.
Yeah,
can't eat it. I'll find it in my stool later. Like, and if you're finding pieces of food in your stool, you're not absorbing it. You're not getting the nutrients from it. So that is worse than, that's like equivalent to eating a Big Mac then.
Mm-hmm.
If you're eating a salad and it's passing right through you, you're not getting any of the benefits. So what's the point of eating it?
Right. It's a waste of time.
Yeah. So I've been starting to eat things very, very cooked. So I'll have a warm salad. So like kale and spinach and collard greens, all of those things cooked down. So I'm still eating my healthy salads and I'm getting those nutrients. Like I'm not saying don't eat vegetables, but I'm saying the way we cook things and prepare things might need to be changed in order to be eating a healthy diet for you. And again, it's so personalized that that's why you need to have a healthcare team with you on your side, because it's really hard and stressful and overwhelming when you don't know the science literature, you don't know how to handle it. And it could be easy as taking out a few foods and preparing it differently, and you could be feeling better.
Yeah.
You know, you could,
or one thing, like you said, gluten.
Yeah.
You know, just like
and that's
that
in everything
simple,
too.
you know, oh, just take this out of my diet and, you know, I feel immediately better a week later.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting. And like, I talked about this, I think on the intro podcast. I actually went to Suffolk for the dietetics program for a semester. And the reason why I went there was because when I was working out at Finest Fitness in Patchogue, there was a bodybuilder there who's actually, he's a professional bodybuilder now. He's you know, a pretty good one too. And I used to always pick his brain. Like I was wrestling, like trying to cut weight and stuff. And I'm like, I always see him like, you know, 1 month he's fucking huge. And then the next month he's like, not
fluffy,
not small, but like he's getting ready for his show. So he's noticeably smaller than he was, you know, say 2 months ago. So I'd, you know, always ask him about cutting weight. Like what's his diet like, this, that, the other thing. And I was like, saying something about how my stomach, I was gassy, bloated, like it just hurt. Yeah. And he's like, well, what are you eating? And I was like, what everyone's eating, bro. Like grilled chicken, brown rice, and broccoli. Like, that's it, you know? And he's like, well, what blood type are you? And I'm like, I don't know. And so I went home, found out, came back the next day. It was O positive. And he's like, you can't have brown rice. I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, you're O positive. He's like, it doesn't mix with brown rice. He's like, so try basmati rice. So went home, tried it. Next week, nothing. No bloating, nothing. Like I was fine, completely fine. And like, I was like, what the fuck? Like he literally told me to do one thing and it completely changed how I felt for forever. You know, like even now, like if I go somewhere and, you know, people think, oh, I'm getting brown rice being healthy. Like I'll be like, can I have the white rice? And people look at me like, are you a trainer?
You're the epitome of health, Brandon. Why are you having white rice? Yeah. Same thing with me. And honestly, I don't know how much I believe the blood type diets, but from a nutritional standpoint, white rice and brown rice are essentially the same exact thing, but brown rice has a layer on the outside, which makes it brown. And that layer, it's like an encasing almost.
Harder to digest,
it's harder to digest, but that has a bunch of nutrients in it. So people say, oh, brown rice is like at a molecular level and like bioavailability. Yes, brown rice is healthier for you. But someone like you who might have might
not even be blood type, but
like something wrong with your stomach that you have no idea about. Digesting that might have been super hard for you. It's like same thing with me. I don't eat brown rice because I can't digest it. Mm-hmm. So I eat white rice and I get the same thing. People look at me like, why are you eating white rice? It's so unhealthy. And I'm like, no, like, do you ever, like, does your dog ever like throw up? What do you give them? You give them white rice because it helps like calm down their stomach. Same thing.
Right.
So it's very interesting how the viewpoint of different foods, and same thing with like the salad phenomenon, like, oh, to eat salad, you're healthy, but like if you're not digesting it, that's not healthy. Yeah. So same thing with the rice, and that's a huge, to me, eye opener. Yeah. To know the difference between the two, and what works for you might not work for everyone.
Yeah, that's it's just like working out. Like you don't go to the gym and do the same thing as your friend. I mean, a lot of people do, but like, you know, if you're getting a personal program, like it's not gonna be the same thing for your friend. Yeah. You know, it's a personal program for you. But like when it comes to nutrition, you're like, yeah, I eat healthy. It's like, well, what's healthy? Like, you know, and then I mean, we can get into diets and all that, but it's like,
I was gonna say we can get to the rabbit hole of like glyphosate, and because I think that's another reason why I have all these stomach issues, because I was eating vegetables my entire life. I'm a very healthy eater. Yeah. How come I have all these health issues now? I was eating non-organic vegetables, which is filled with glyphosate, pesticides, herbicides. And if I had a compromised immune system, a compromised gut, like all of those toxins being put into your body
Getting right in there.
Yeah, it's just causing leaky gut. And leaky gut is essentially the barrier of your intestines leaking all of these food particles, like partially digested food particles and toxins from the food that you're eating, like the herbicides and pesticides, are going right into your immune system because your immune system lines your gut. So that is another phenomenon that is huge. And luckily, though, New York State just passed a law that we are not allowed to have any glyphosate in New York State anymore, which is great.
Oh,
As of like a few weeks ago. But because glyphosate is a water-soluble toxin, it could take, if the whole entire world banned glyphosate today, it would take around 80 years to filter out of our ecosystem.
Damn.
Which is like, okay, yay, New York State for doing this, but it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Like, you still have to buy organic everything. And, well, not everything.
The dirty dozen.
Yeah, the dirty dozen. If you need to find that out, the ewg.org website has the dirty dozen list, which is the 12 vegetables, fruits and vegetables that you should always, no matter what, buy organic, because they're like the highest fruits that are the most toxic and the most prone to all these herbicides and pesticides. So if you're on a budget and you can't buy everything organic, at least buy those 12.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. So what do you, I know you asked me about the carnivore diet. I want to know what you think about it. 'Cause like, I don't know how I feel about it.
I don't know how I feel about it either. I did, like, my class did mention, and I sent you the picture of what it talks about in the class. It's really interesting. I actually saw a post the other day, and she was, she's a carnivorist, or I don't know the terminology of it, but she eats an only carnivore diet, and she was comparing superfoods. So like claiming all the, like, superfoods isn't a thing. Like, there's not a food that's called a superfood. That's a label that the food industry gives these foods
it's
to
a
sell
sales
it.
scam.
Yeah, it's a sales scam. So she was listing all these superfoods out, like elderberry and like all these antioxidant fruits and vegetables, and compared it to liver. And liver has like an endless supply of antioxidants and B complex vitamins and all these super essential micronutrients that we need. The list was endless on the liver, and there was like 4 on the superfoods.
Right.
So from the general public stand, like, it looks, the sales part, and this is what I'm actually writing my Knowledge Bomb Wednesday email tomorrow on, all about these
sales pitches.
Yeah, sales pitches and marketing tactics that they use to make you buy these products. And I think you said it on your last podcast, like, you don't see vegetables having, like, except the superfood part, I guess. That's a big
like,
part
I'm
of
healthy.
It.
Like,
yeah.
this is healthy apples.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, exactly.
Like, that's one thing I always tell my clients. Like, if there's something on the package or the box, I mean, first off, we shouldn't be eating out of a package or a box.
Exactly, yeah.
But if you do happen to buy something, and it says
labels.
gluten-free or, no fat or non-GMO, like that's them trying to sell you. That's
and
not,
hide something.
Yeah.
Like the no sugar, they have like 200 plus names to name sugar.
Right. Yeah. We're not going to use sugar.
I was triggered your last podcast. I was like, oh, I can't wait to talk about this.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like, but it's the same. Like, you shouldn't be sold. Like, you should know what healthy food is. It's things that grow that you can physically either, hunt and kill or fish for or, harvest.
Yeah.
It's not things where you go and open a plastic package and start eating.
Yeah. But another thing to think about, and this is the whole personalization, customization part of it, just because carnivore diet might be perfect for you would be terrible for me. So I got a genetic testing done, and I think everyone should get their genetics testing done, and not like the 23andMe genetics testing. Like, go to a functional practitioner and get a full, I think it's Cyrex. They have
If anyone,
genetics.
If anyone needs like a blood test or like a genetic blood test, like, I actually know someone.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. So reach out to you.
I
know a guy.
I don't know. I know a guy, but I don't actually know what the business name is called. One of my clients just got it done.
Okay,
so,
cool. Yeah, I can send the one that I got too. It was $100, and it was the best $100 I ever spent in my life, because it gave me
not $100.
so much information. I mean, it was through my like I said, functional practitioner. So I don't know if like she has a better deal when you go through her, but she's also local. So if anyone from Long Island, she's in Sayville. So if anyone from Long Island, Christine Gazzoni, she's amazing. She's in Sayville. Little plug.
I'll definitely have to try that out because, I mean, for $100, it's like,
oh my God, it was amazing. So what mine showed is I have the motherfucker gene, MTHFR gene. So I don't know if you know anything about genetics, but
I remember that because of motherfucker.
Yeah. So what that means is that I have trouble metabolizing certain B vitamins and like toxins, my sex hormones. So like my estrogen levels were all out of whack. Like I said, my B vitamins were all out of whack. That's why my liver enzymes were high because I can't detoxify well. My detox pathways were essentially not working well because of this gene snipping. So now that I know that, there's vitamins to help with that MTHFR gene. So I'm taking 2 vitamins for that, and then just staying away from meat right now to help balance out my liver. I'm also taking some herbal medicines for my liver, and I eventually will be able to eat meat, but it would have to be like really good organic liver meat, like the types of meats that you would get.
Yeah, I'm getting a half a cow delivered this week. So
oh
if you
my
need some
God,
meat.
yeah. So those vitamins in there are like the best. There's a whole like the B complexes are all in there. Not all meat product is going to have all of the essential B complex vitamins.
Yeah, it's mostly liver.
Yeah. And if you're taking like B vitamins, so some people take B vitamins for energy, but if you have, and I think it's like 40 to 50% of the population has this gene snipping, the MTHFR snipping. So it's more common than you would think. Then if you're taking B vitamins and you're not taking a methylated B vitamin, you could be causing more harm than good. So just food for thought, you know, even though people say I don't care about genetics, like it's good information. And just because you have the genetic snipping doesn't always mean it's going to show up in your body. Like it's just, you know, a warning sign almost, like this could happen to you. But because of all of my lab work and everything, it made sense that was what was happening in my body.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, so now having methylated B vitamins will be super helpful, cutting out alcohol, which is sad, but for my liver, I need it. And just being mindful of my food and getting super high quality stuff.
Have you looked into like milk thistle at all?
Yeah, so those are really, milk thistle is really good for hormone balancing. I'm not on it because my stomach is so impaired.
Can't take it.
Not that, I just don't want to overwhelm it.
Oh.
You don't want to put
too
much in,
stuff.
and I'm only taking 10 different vitamins, which 10 sounds like a lot too. But you can go through a whole rabbit hole of like taking all these herbs and supplements.
I take milk thistle.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different benefits of milk thistle, and you know, same thing with you. It might not always work for everyone.
Yeah.
And some of those things, like for me, I'm in the process of balancing out my hormones, and someone who has, like, if any women out there have horrible PMS symptoms or like hormonal acne or different things that they're feeling with their period, like one of the really good herbs that you could take is Vitex, which is chaste tree berry. And again, it's not going to happen right away. I feel like everyone's looking for that like quick fix, but you have to take it for a while for it to actually reap the benefits. So that's another thing that I try and always remind my clients is that even though my protocol is 28 days, it's not always going to only last 28 days.
It's the rest of your life.
Yeah, it depends on how, you know, extreme you are. And just because, like for me, I've been doing this diet protocol for like 6 months. The longer you do it, the better off you are. Yeah. And like for me, I literally couldn't even, I had a juice. This was like my breaking point. I juiced a cucumber and that's all I had. I juiced a cucumber and potatoes and I immediately vomited. And that's when I was like, okay, if I can't eat a cucumber and steamed potatoes, something is really wrong with me. So that was like my breaking point into this whole journey and healing journey of everything.
But it's good because, like, I mean, now you can help people with that. I mean, same thing with the injury, you know, like that's kind of why I do. I mean, I'm sure you too. That's why we do what we do, is because like I know how it feels to lay in a bed for a week and a half and only wiggle my toes and not be able to, like, I had to literally crawl to the bathroom because I couldn't walk. I couldn't do anything, you know? So it's like, whenever somebody says like, oh, like oh man, I got back pain. It's like immediately I'm like, dude, like you don't have to be, like, you do not have to be like that.
Exactly.
Like, no, it's been like that for years. I'm like, trust me.
I know.
Like you do not have to live like this.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I can't believe that people are okay with living like that.
I know. It
The
blows
same
my
thing
mind.
with the diet, and like, and even my girlfriend Bree, to an extent, like, not that she was okay with it, but she was like,
just living with it.
yeah, like, this is just how I am, you know?
We talked a while before she finally committed to.
Yeah.
And I saw it. I was like, you do not have to live like this. And she's going to be helping so many people now. She's a nurse. She's going to be doing like so good for this world. I was like, could you imagine living the way you were a few months ago in pain, like studying for the NCLEX and like trying to do your job when you're like in just as much pain as your patient?
Right.
Like, no, like you need to fix that. And that's the issue. Like, so many people don't know what's normal and what's not normal, because you go to a regular doctor and like, oh yeah, it's normal, just take this pill and you'll be okay.
And I think a lot of people don't realize that when you go to a regular doctor and they're saying, so like your blood, your like, say you get your blood work done, right? And they're telling you vitamin D levels or whatever, right? They say, oh, you're normal, right? But I don't want to be normal. I don't want to be the fat, sick, and, you know, standard American normal. Like, I want to be above average. I want to be in that, like, athletic normal.
Well, that's another thing that you can talk about, too, and it's an eye-opener for everyone. When you get blood work done, those reference ranges are based off the people who get blood work done. Right. Who's getting blood work? The people who are sick. Yep. So those reference ranges are already skewed to the sick side. So even though you're in those reference ranges doesn't mean you're optimizing your health. Yep. And same thing, if you're in the optimal range, if you're low or high on either side, that's not normal either. So even though you're in that optimal range, if you're on that lower side, not a good thing. If you're on that higher side, probably not a good thing either, depending on the test.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, they just
think, oh, I'm in the reference range, I'm good.
Yeah, my doctor said I'm normal.
Yeah.
But like you said, you got to look at who they think normal is.
Exactly. And that's why I love the functional medicine approach to things, because not only are they looking for optimal reference ranges, like their numbers are different than the ranges that they use in traditional medicine, but they're also looking for the root cause. So when you go to, say you have hormone issues, I'm just on that topic because I have hormone issues, and I'm passionate about this, but like for a female, you're irregular periods. So like, oh, here, take this birth control. It's going to regulate your hormones. Birth control doesn't regulate your hormones. It just masks all of the symptoms you're having with your periods, so you don't have to ask a question. Where at a functional medicine approach, they're actually looking for the root cause. What's wrong with your hormones? Let's actually balance it out naturally instead of taking this pill. Like for me, the reason why I went on birth control was not to prevent birth, but it was to prevent all these horrible symptoms I was having. As soon as I came off of it, all those symptoms came back. I was like, oh, I remember why I went on it 7 years ago, because I feel like shit. Like, this sucks. And they hand it out like candy now. I don't know if you're familiar with the birth control.
I signed up for it. They actually denied me. But I mean, that's a good, I have a question about that actually is, so what is the difference like between, you know, your standard birth control and then like say a functional nutrition, I don't want to say birth control, but like their, I don't know.
Yeah, the approach to it. So,
exactly.
First off, disclaimer, I'm not a doctor, and I'm not
neither,
trying to be a doctor. So I don't know
exactly. Said that in the beginning.
Yeah. These are just the things that I've learned with trial and error with myself, and just the things I picked on with my functional nutritionist practitioner, and the class that I'm in. So as much as I would love to be a functional practitioner one day, right now I'm not. So please do not take this as medical advice. This is not telling you what to do. Definitely reach out to a functional medicine practitioner. You can go to functionalmedicine.org and find a functional medicine practitioner that's near you. Almost all of them take insurance now, which is great. Or like mine, she's very affordable. That's one of the reasons why people are like, no, I don't want to go, because it's so expensive. Yeah. But there's definitely like direct to consumer rates are better now. But from my understanding with the functional nutrition approach or just functional medicine approach to balancing out your hormones, it's really finding that root cause. And for women, we have progesterone, estrogen, and testosterone all in our cycle. And if those levels are out of whack, that leads you into the right direction of what it could be. There are other biomarkers too that you can look out for that can, show you what's going on. For instance, insulin. If you have high insulin, that could mean XYZ. But from a functional medicine approach, a lot of it all stems from diet. So they're not a lot of it's diet, and then a lot of it's herbals and supplements. So looking at your supplements, like you said, you don't want to guess of what you're at. So you would need to be working with a functional medicine practitioner, looking at your levels, looking at all of your nutrient levels, making sure nothing's deficient. So like my vitamin D is really low, so that plays a huge role into hormones. Vitamin C is another big one. Like I said, I'm on chaste tree berry, which is Vitex, which helps balance out your hormones naturally. They tell you to eat a no dairy at all diet because of the hormones that are pumped in our dairy.
What about if it's organic?
Even if it's organic, it's still, yeah. So it's better for you to go organic, obviously, but even organic cows have some sort of hormones in it.
Even if it's like a local farm?
I'm not 100% sure. I'm sure if you talk to your local farm and, find the, like you're saying, for the meat you're getting and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I know that's 100% organic and all that. But I'm saying, like, there's actually a dairy farm upstate that it reminded me of. So, like,
so you'd have to ask.
Yeah, and, because obviously you go to, like, what is it, like Stonyfield? Like, I'm sure they're probably not really organic or, whatever. Stonyfield, don't sue us. But, like, I know what you're saying, like, but I was wondering maybe on a small scale, like.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely better. They always tell you to go organic and buy locally as much as possible. I'm not 100% sure if you did buy local dairy products, if it would be 100% no hormones at all.
Yeah.
But I know from my nutritionist, she said stay away from dairy as much as you can, which is really sad and depressing because
I'm not a big fan of dairy. It's easy
I actually grew up hating cheese, and then I don't know what happened. I grew up and I was like, wow, cheese is amazing.
I think like cheese is probably the only dairy that I like. I wouldn't say regularly consume, but
yeah,
like I don't drink milk anymore.
Me neither.
I mean, I'll do like oat milk.
Mm-hmm. Same. Actually, oat milk is not good.
Whatever.
Macadamia milk is the best.
Really?
Yeah, it's naturally sugar free. So
yeah, I just feel what it is like it's just convenient oat milk because like everywhere else has it, or almond milk or something like that.
Yeah, almond milk too. But again,
they're probably not good for you.
Almonds I know oats is
don't
one
have
of
milk.
Well, that too, but they're one of the most processed foods.
Yeah.
So that glyphosate conversation again.
Yeah, but I mean, regardless, I actually do feel better from not having the milk.
Yeah. I haven't had regular milk in years.
Yeah.
I hate milk.
I'm not. See, I grew up drinking milk like with literally every meal.
Really?
Yeah, anything. Every meal we had milk.
Cereal only.
I'm just not. I don't know. It just doesn't do it for me anymore. But like cheese, like I can eat cheese and not feel like shit. But it also depends on the cheese. Like I feel like hard cheeses are better.
Yeah, they are.
If I eat like pizza with mozzarella cheese or something like that. Obviously, the bread is what really fucks me up, but I've noticed that the cheese also.
Yeah, and it's funny because they always like you Google healthy cheeses and it's like cottage cheese and mozzarella, and it's like no, that's not
if
right.
I do like say Kerrygold cheddar, like I'm fine. I don't have.
They say the hard cheeses are better.
Stomach problems.
They also go into the A1, A2 cheeses. So A2 is supposed to be better for you. It doesn't have as much hormones or any hormones in it. So those are like your goat cheeses, buffalo cheese, which I didn't even know was a thing.
Wow.
But
I don't like goat cheese.
Me neither.
It's weird.
It's healthy.
It's just like it's got I don't know. It's like a weird texture.
Yeah, it's a texture thing. But it's also, I think, the taste is very strong too.
Yeah, and but it's oddly enough, I like goat milk.
Oh, so there you go.
Yeah.
So that's
because that's like sweeter.
Yeah.
Have you ever had goat milk? No.
I don't like milk.
It's weird. It's like if you put sugar in regular milk.
Yeah.
It's just sweeter. It's actually really good.
I'm not sure that's why it's better for you because it's not sugar, but it tastes like it has sugar in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I said, the goat cheese I'm just not a fan of. I've tried it multiple times and can't do it. I don't know why.
You don't have to do it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, so that was like the easy part is just cutting dairy out. Like I really don't have dairy ever.
Yeah.
Unless like if I go away on like last week and we went snowboarding and like somebody bought cereal, so I had a bowl of cereal. But like other than that, like I would never like go out of my way to buy milk.
Yeah.
If I have coffee, like I said, I'll use oat milk or almond milk. Not a great alternative, but it's for me. It makes me feel better.
Yeah.
Than sometimes I feel like you can't be like healthy all the time, you know?
I know, but then that's a conversation that I've trying to have more often is like, cause my boyfriend's parents, I don't know why they can't wrap their head around me being sick and have these food issues. But they are like, don't you just want to eat this? Like, why can't you just eat it? I'm like, cause I don't want to feel like shit for 5 days.
Yeah.
Like I know what it's going to do to my body and I know it's going to make me feel like crap. So like, why are you pressuring me to eat a certain way?
Right.
You know what I mean? So although that can work for you because you're not in my case, like you're not in my shoes, you don't have my health complications.
Right.
And same thing for other people who are going through this, who have an autoimmune disease. And yeah, it sucks, but if you master it, like I've mastered this diet protocol where I feel amazing and I'm not in pain anymore. Like I haven't had a stomach flare up, knock on wood, in a really long time. I am filled with energy. You know, I'm sleeping better. There's just endless pros to it where the cons are just, if I did eat it, yeah, like it doesn't outweigh it at all.
Yeah. I think a lot of people also.
People are in denial about it.
Yes. And the fact that, like you don't know what good is until you get there.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
So you like even me, like that's one thing like I have a hard time with, like whether I do keto, like I've done a bunch of different diets. Like I've actually done like full on like vegan for 30 days. Like I've done keto, I've done carnivore, paleo.
For 30 days. People
paleo,
think 30 days is so hard, like so long. I'm like 30 days is nothing. Yeah. I've been doing it for 6 months and I'm like, don't even care. Like, it's fine. Like once you get past the 30 days is when you start really seeing the benefits.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that I try and stress is like, I know it sounds like it sucks. And I know when you're doing it, it sucks. But like, if you just
stick with it.
Yeah. If you have the willpower, like 28 days is not long.
Yeah, not at all. And just like, I feel like you don't appreciate being healthy, like I said, until you're there. Because like you're just like, oh, like Brie before, like she's like, oh, this is just normal. Like I'm designed to feel like shit. Mm-hmm. But like now that she's working with you, she understands like that wasn't normal.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like it's getting there. It's getting to like maybe not your goal, but getting, you know, maybe halfway to your goal to realize that, oh, I felt like shit. Yeah. You know? And it's like now that I'm halfway there, like I can only imagine what it's going to be like when I'm all the way there.
Exactly. You know? And like think of Brie, like we haven't even looked at her blood work yet. Like this is just scratching the surface of what she can, like the potential of her feeling good. Mm-hmm. So that's another like, and once you have like the benefit of that and you see how well your body responds to that, it's addicting. It's like, oh, like how much more can I optimize my health? And, you know, I don't want to ever jeopardize my health that way ever again. So like people are always like, don't you just want to have a glass of wine? I'm like, no, I don't. Like I don't miss it. Know
what it feels like.
Yeah. So maybe like in the future, but like people are like, you've been doing it for so long. I'm like, I've been doing it for 6 months. Yeah. Like that's not long. Like think of how long you live. Like if I want to be a centenarian and in that blue zone, like I have many, many years to live. Yep. So 6 months is nothing. And if I can master it now and be the guinea pig and be able to spread it with everyone else and all my clients, then like we're going to have a much healthier population. Because the way things are going right now, we can talk about the coronavirus and all that too. Like things are going south real quick. And, you know, I always say this because I don't have health insurance right now. So like I'm my best health insurance. Like I need to take care of my health. And if I don't, like one, I'm going to be in a lot of medical debt because God forbid I go to the hospital. Yeah. Like there goes my mortgage that I'm trying to get. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Crazy.
Yeah. So it's just, everyone's in a different walk of life right now and you can't judge anyone for doing, especially when it comes to food. Like I was listening to a podcast and they were saying like, oh, no one questions the 2 Big Macs you ate and the 12-pack of beer you drank over the weekend, but God forbid you eat a salad on the weekday. You know what I mean? Like they're like, why are you eating a salad? Like, what about the pack of cigarettes you smoked over the weekend? Or, you know what I mean? Like all these unhealthy things, like they don't question that, but they always question this healthy lifestyle thing.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like, I'm sure we can both speak to this, but like, you know, we're out in public and, you know, we're eating, in quotations, our food, you know, and people are just like, oh, like, you know, like if like you're at, like say a Super Bowl party or, you know, New Year's and, You're like, no, I'm good. I'm not going to have that. And they're like, oh, no, but just try it. Just try. I'm like, no. Like, I don't, like you said, I don't want to feel like shit later.
Yeah.
And then, you know, sometimes say that you do get guilted into trying something and then you're like, fuck, I really shouldn't have ate that, you know? So, but like I said, I think like knowing what feeling good is and then knowing what feeling bad is, it's just easy to make up that decision. Like, I don't want to feel bad.
Exactly.
You know, and that's what has helped me kind of stick to, I don't really like to say diet. Like I just like, I eat
That's
food.
why I say protocol.
Yeah.
Like, this is my protocol. Like,
yeah.
It sounds better than a diet.
It does.
People like
More
are
official.
triggered by a diet. It's not a diet. Like I don't make this up. Like I didn't make this protocol up. Like there's science behind this. Like I'm just preaching what the science says, you know? And that's a hard thing for some of my clients to understand because they're apologizing to me if like they eat something. I'm like, you don't have to apologize to me, but have fun feeling like shit for 2 days.
Right.
Like I hope that reminds you why we're doing this, you know? So yeah, it speaks for itself. I don't have to, and going back to like the assessment piece, like my assessment is such an eye opener that like, I don't even have to sell my product because you take the assessment and it tells you right there, like how badly you need me or how badly you need this protocol or this lifestyle change, which in itself is amazing because it's so accessible. You know, that's a big issue with healthcare right now is people don't see it as accessible. And that's another reason why I'm super passionate about what I do because I'm the accessible piece and I'm like the bridge, like helping you understand what all these tests mean and what all of these, you know, blood markers are and explaining it in a digestible way for the general public to actually do something with. Yeah,
you're like a bridge between science and then like the general public who doesn't give a shit about science.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you have to like dumb everything down and be like, you know, not and that was like the crazy thing. Like when I went to school, I was at Suffolk for the fitness program, fitness specialist, and I was coaching at the time. Like I was a certified trainer. I was working at Infinity Sports Performance. And like we're sitting here learning about fucking cells and like, yeah, I guess you should have an understanding, but I couldn't tell you one time I've ever explained like maybe mitochondria, but like I've never explained like, you know, oh, your cell walls and like, you know, the difference between a plant cell and a human cell. Like nobody's ever asked me that, you know, nobody's ever asked like a cellular level
but
question.
Sometimes using that as a reference, like having that general like information is good, especially when you do something like maybe not for like fitness training. Yeah. Like from your
nutrition's a little different.
But nutrition is definitely, you need that. Yeah. Because like you think a cell is like, they say half an eyebrow length, and that's the lining of your stomach. Right. A half of your eyebrow hair is the lining of your stomach.
It's crazy.
It's tiny. Yeah. So think about all the toxins we're, you know, exposed to on a daily basis, and that's another wormhole. How many toxins are, one, that we don't know, that we can't see. Like there's the toxins of cigarettes and the toxins of alcohol that, or we all know we're doing that to our bodies. But then there's the toxins of like I said, the glyphosate or PBAs or beauty products are so bad.
That was one of the main things. So, I mean, it's in my online program and we talk about it in the 023 course. But I'm trying to think of when I actually ditched all the products, but like, I want to say like 5 years ago, 5, maybe 6 years ago.
That you knew.
Like at one point I was making my own deodorant. I need
that.
Yeah.
Give me that recipe.
It's not good. That's why I stopped.
We need to perfect it.
It was just, you know what it is? It's just like, it's too much work to do all the stuff yourself. So like now there's actual companies that have,
I know. Now it's well known.
Yeah. So like at this time, I mean, the only store around was Whole Foods. Me and my 4 friends, well, 4 of us would take turns once a week driving to Whole Foods, and like we'd all go. Yeah. No, in Lake Grove.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and we would like go there, spend crazy
$500,
crazy amounts of money.
Back then it was really expensive.
Yeah, it was
now
crazy
it's a little
expensive.
Bit better.
Yeah, it got definitely a little bit better. But like that was the only place to find things. And now you can go to Stop and Shop, you can go to Target, and you can get like organic this and organic that. But at one point, like you can only go to Whole Foods or online. But
yeah, Amazon now.
Yeah.
Get everything on there.
Yeah, pretty clutch.
Yeah.
And but that like around then is when I started to like now buy, like I use like Tom's toothpaste and
even Times isn't the best though.
Yeah, it's better than, but it's better than like having fluoride
like for
and
me,
stuff.
that was one thing that my blood work showed was I have high levels of aluminum in my blood, which you shouldn't have any level of aluminum.
Deodorant.
I don't use deodorant anyways though, so it wasn't deodorant. I think it was the pans I was using. So like Teflon is not good for you, and a lot of these like nonstick pans.
If you cook with aluminum foil, stuff
aluminum
like
foil, yeah. So all of these things, beauty products all have heavy metals in it. Like lipstick, almost all lipsticks have lead in it. So all of these heavy metals are really bad, and they cause these low, like I said, low systemic inflammation in your body, which can cause adverse health effects. So again, just to break it down, you have that one cell thick layer of your stomach, and you're taking in all these toxins off the food, off the beauty products, off everything, and that's impairing your gut. Now think about your immune system lines your stomach lining. So now all these toxins are going into your immune system, and your immune system's like, oh my God, this is a foreign invader. I need to get this stuff out. So it's sending out all these T cells and regulator cells to help, get these toxins out. It's creating an inflammatory response. That's literally the classic case of autoimmunity, how autoimmunity starts. Mm-hmm. It starts, breaking down itself. It starts getting triggered by all these toxins. And then because it's always on inflammation mode, it starts taking those same molecules and attacking its own cells. So like for your stomach, if you have impaired stomach, it's like, oh, there's invaders in my stomach. Let me start breaking down my stomach. And that's how autoimmunity happens. And that's why so many people don't know they have autoimmunity, because it's at a cellular level and you don't see it.
Yeah, you don't know really it until you know it.
It's such a low grade inflammation that, like I said from the beginning, that headache, that fatigue, that drowsiness, the lethargic feeling, that like very minuscule symptoms turns into a very big issue later in life.
Yeah, you don't know it until it's too late.
Exactly.
I mean, it's not too late, but it's too late to prevent.
Yeah.
You can now work on getting rid of it, but
or like
you should never
putting it
have
in remission, kind of a thing.
Right, but like, I mean, if you caught it early enough, you would never have to actually do all these steps now.
Exactly.
But like cleaning up my I guess beauty protocol.
Yeah. And guys don't think that, no. Guys like, oh, I don't use beauty products.
Yeah. I mean, even everything I use now, like from my toothpaste, my deodorant, I use now like soap doesn't have like crap in it. I'm sure it does, but it's better than what's on like Dove and shit like that. What else? Even like beard oil. Yeah. Like I use Ritual Beard Company. They're all
condoms.
Because
that's a big one too. People don't realize condoms are toxic too. You're putting that in your body, not good.
Yeah, get rid of them. Just don't use them. But like and it's one of those things where like you take vitamin C or whatever vitamin, it's not like, oh, do you feel better yet? It's
you
like
don't know.
You don't know.
Yeah.
You're just hoping that that's what it's doing. Mm-hmm. And I mean, the science is there to prove, so it is doing that. And just like think about like your skin. Oh, sunblock. That's another one. Sunblock. I don't use any sunblock. I use coconut oil if I have to.
Yeah. That's not good either. But you need some SPF. But they have cleaner ones.
Naturally, it has SPF.
Oh, it does. I didn't know that.
Naturally, SPF 5 to 7. Yeah. So
5 to 7.
Yeah. But I mean,
my Irish skin needs more than that.
Well, so you'd actually be surprised. So if you start so the big thing with sun exposure is that people go balls to the wall right off the bat. Mm-hmm. First day, oh, it's fucking 90 degrees. Let's go to the beach.
Yeah, you got to go at 6 a.m. right when the sun rises, and then ease your way into it. Yeah, I've read that too.
Yeah, so like the sun is least damaging 1 hour after sunrise and then 1 hour before sunset. Yeah. So if you practice sun gazing, those are like the two sweet spots to go through. So you want to get the most sun the first and last hour of the day, because that basically like charges you. It's
like a lizard.
Yeah, exactly, or a turtle. I mean, like almost every animal gets recharged by the sun.
Yeah, which is why I don't know why we live in New York. Because
yeah, I know. As it's snowing out.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, like you have to kind of microdose the sun into being able to go out all day. Like me, I mean, now I kind of intentionally try not to do that, but I used to only get burned the first time of the year, and I would never get burned ever again.
Yeah, same.
You know, so, but now the last year I didn't get burned at all because I was trying to get into, you know, exposing myself early and often, and then throughout the day, say I'm fishing or clamming or doing whatever, I have my hat on, my, you know, my sun hat.
Protecting yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So like at those times of the day, maybe you shouldn't be out in the sun, like sunbathing and stuff like that. It's probably not the greatest thing for you. But you'd be surprised at like how much sunscreen you don't need.
I know.
You know, and especially like it's the same thing in the gym. Like do you walk into the gym or have like one of your clients first day like max out, like we're gonna bench or squat today, like we're gonna see how much you can do. Like that's what people do on the beach. First day it's nice out and they're like, I'm gonna max out my sun exposure. But they don't think of it like that. You know, they just think, oh, I'm tanning, I'm trying to look good. You know, but like you need these little microdoses, like, you know, little by little, and that'll like allow your skin to adjust and I don't want to say absorb, but like
but yeah, it is absorb, like
like I guess absorb the sunlight and not burn. You know, and like use it, you know, harness the vitamin D and all the other you know, I mean, even like the sunlight going through your retinas, it actually helps purify the blood, you know. So like there's plenty of things, like, I mean, that's another thing I can talk about, like why I don't wear sunglasses, you know. And but I think a lot of people would be surprised at how much they don't need sunblock. If you do it correctly, if you know, expose yourself early and often, cover up midday, you know.
Which no one does.
No one does. No one. I mean, it's hard. Like even like when I'm out like fishing and stuff, like I want to take my shirt off and like, you know, not wear fucking a jacket, you know, but like
it's hot out.
But you know, in moderation, it's not bad.
I'm pumped to know that coconut oil has natural SPF in it. That's cool.
Yeah, it's great. And I use coconut oil, I mean, for everything.
I know. It's like, it needs an award.
It's the Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I use it for my tattoos for forever.
I've been using it for my hair.
Yeah, I use it for my hair. Like I said, it's in that.
Your teeth, whitens your teeth.
You could do
pulling.
Yep. I mean,
that's kind of gross.
Yeah,
my roommate used to do that.
I tried it.
Skeeved me out.
I tried it. I
to do it for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Who has that time? Not me.
It was disgusting.
Exactly.
It was like, I was like, oh, like, because I had a cavity. Well, I mean, I got multiple cavities, but like, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna try this. Like, you know, like I was reading about it and stuff, and then I took like 2 tablespoons right into the mouth, and I was
gagging.
Yeah, I'm like, this is fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
I'm like, who the hell does this? Like, it's like you're literally chewing on fat.
Yeah.
It's just gross. I mean, I don't even like avocado. Like, I like avocados, but I can't eat them alone. It has to be with something else. It has to be on toast or with eggs or meat or something. Is it a
texture thing?
It's a texture thing. It's just, you bite into it and it's just
fat.
Ugh, it's gross. It's weird.
Well, this will skeeve you out then. So with my impaired stomach, there's have you heard of like clarified butter or ghee?
Yeah, ghee,
so there's a compound in that. Yeah, it's gross. I don't recommend unless you're like really desperate. I mean, it's actually doesn't taste bad, but like you said, the texture of it is like not good. But the compound in ghee is butyrate, and that's what feeds your cell lining of your stomach, the coloncytes. So I've been taking it a teaspoon of ghee every morning on an empty stomach, and then 30 minutes later I'll have my whatever I'm eating, although we were talking about fasting, but so I have been fasting a lot. So I'll make sure I time it at a good time, but
do you cook with it?
I do, but the benefits of taking it on an empty stomach raw, is different than what you would get when you cook with it.
Yeah.
The heat oxidizes it differently.
Right, denatures proteins.
So it's different. People always ask me, like, can I just cook with it? I'm like, no.
Yeah, I do the same thing with honey, actually.
Yeah.
I do raw honey and raw garlic.
You're the one who told me that. Yep.
Yeah, so it's
for allergies.
Yep. Just like I mean, both honey and garlic are like naturally antiseptic, antibacterial, antimicrobial, antiviral, all that. Like, and I actually got it from the farm I go upstate, so right by our house upstate, SMI Farm. The owner there, Dominic, he's like an older gentleman.
He has bees.
Yes. He's
got bees and chickens. I'm shocked you don't have bees.
I thought about it this year.
You should.
Yeah.
Oh my God, do it.
It's hard on Long Island.
It is hard.
Because of all the...
climate change.
No, not necessarily the climate change. It's hard because of all the farms that use pesticides.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And like
It kills them.
yeah, I was talking to one of the beekeepers in where I got one of my chickens, and he said that it's almost not worth it because every
Interesting.
year he has to get new
Like test it and
queens.
stuff.
Well, get new queens for the
They die?
Yeah, because they die because of
Just
all
from
the,
breathing.
Yeah,
See,
I
that
mean,
alone should show you.
yeah,
that
I know.
There's some stuff going on
I don't
at a level
know-
that we can't even see.
Yeah, I just don't know how. Like he was out in Calverton, so very close to the farmland.
Yeah.
You know, like his neighbor was a farmer. So like I don't know, like how far that
Yeah.
pesticide travels.
My friend who lives in Islip Terrace, her family has bees,
Mhm.
and they've had them for years.
Really,
So, but
it's like an art. It's one of those things where you
Yeah.
have to like really put your time in, study a lot. Like I did
Yeah.
a beekeeper's course, Penn State beekeepers course. Shout out.
That's so cool. I didn't even
Yeah.
know that was a thing.
Yeah, it was actually free over the quarantine.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Why didn't you send me that?
I think I might have put it out on
maybe.
Instagram. I'm almost positive I did. But
I love that. That's awesome.
yeah, the bees are it's an interesting, like, you know, cuz it's a lot of work. People don't
Yeah.
realize that, like, you know, you actually have to do some things. And I mean, now that like they have like the flow hive, but I've heard some bad reviews on that. So
What's the flow hive?
so you know what a regular beehive looks like? It's like a square box. You got to
Yeah,
take
yeah.
the top off, and then you have like the like basically like file cabinet, right? And you got the files of bees, of honey, and so the flow hive is
They like easily can leave the hive essentially.
no, well, I mean they can do that in a regular hive,
Okay.
but basically what
I
it
don't know the mechanics of a hive.
is so you still have those like file cabinet type things, but it comes with like this tool where you stick it in, and it's basically like have you ever like changed a tire in a car?
Oh my god.
So like if you
Yeah.
have like a pickup truck, like you know how it comes with that tool and you got to like put it into the tire and
Yeah.
like drop it.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like that where you put this tool into the beehive and you crank it whatever left or right, whichever way. And it basically like it's like a honeycomb is like a circle and it cracks it. So now it's like a half and half circle,
Oh.
and the honey flows out of the hive into they got
A
like a
bucket.
spout. Yeah. It's a spout, and then you could put jars underneath it.
Oh, that's interesting. Because
Yeah.
normally you'd have to like cut it off, right?
Yeah, you'd have
Yeah.
to cut it off. You'd have to spin it to get.
It's like a lower maintenance.
Yeah, supposedly. But
Yeah.
I've also heard, like I said, that it's not as great as what they say it is.
Yeah.
So, like a lot of beekeepers that I've talked to, there's like a Long Island Beekeepers Association,
Mhm.
and they're big haters
Of
like,
the flow.
of the flow hive because
Yeah.
like, but I just that's the one thing I wasn't a fan of. Like when I talked to like there was one lady who was like, I don't know a nice way to put this, but she was a fucking bitch. And she like was basically talking me out of being a beekeeper. Like I feel like it's very like for them it's like, oh, who's this new person that wants to like
Yeah.
try and
It's
like,
like
keep
cult-like.
yeah, it's exactly, it's like cult like, but it's like because I mean I guess because if you do like run it improper way, like your bees could get infected and then potentially affect, you know, all other local bees. So
Yeah.
I kind of understand, but at the same time, like
You got to start somewhere.
yeah, you got to start somewhere. And then if you're a master beekeeper, like don't be a dick about it. Like
Yeah.
help people.
Yeah.
You know, that's like me being
Like
a personal
the Penn
trainer
State, yeah.
and being like, nope, like I'm
Tough
not
it.
gonna help you. Like yeah,
Yeah.
you shouldn't work out. You know, like
Or like helping a trainer be like,
right. Yeah,
why don't
exactly.
you try this assessment and see if this will help? Yeah.
Yeah. So like that kind of turned me off, and I was gonna leave her a nice email, but
A Yelp review.
yeah, exactly, on her fucking beekeeper site. But yeah, so I decided to do the chickens this year instead, and then
You've only had them for a year?
March will be a year.
I
Yeah.
didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, I want chickens.
Great addition. I think everybody should have chickens.
Yeah. Although I don't eat eggs.
No?
Not anymore.
Oh, you can't, right?
Yeah.
But
I'm sensitive to them, so
I wonder, what about these eggs?
I know. Well, so
I'll give you some eggs when you leave. but
my functional
I'm curious.
nutritionist does this weird body testing, allergy test,
Mhm.
where like you
Oh, so you're
hold,
actually allergic to
Yeah.
eggs.
like the egg white, not the egg yolk, which is
Oh,
weird.
so have some yolks.
I know.
These are literally the greatest yolks you'll ever have. You should get duck eggs.
She said I can eat it, but only on occasions. like not have it every day, which if you remember, I was eating a lot of eggs.
I have 5 eggs a day.
Yeah.
Every day. Sometimes like 8.
Yeah. Well, you have good eggs, but one of the things that you hear about eggs is that if people who are studying viruses and bacteria and different health, whatever diseases in a lab, they feed them eggs. So if you have some sort of dysbiosis in your gut or an issue going on with virus, like if you have Epstein-Barr virus, you're essentially feeding those viruses and those bad bugs in your gut if you're eating eggs.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Damn. That's crazy.
I know.
I hope I don't get that.
I know. Well, Bree was not sensitive to eggs, and she's very happy. So.
Yeah, thank God. I know.
But I'm extreme, so I'm not adding it into my diet. But I'm also sensitive, so.
Yeah, so it's a little different. Like
Yeah.
I have, one of my friends is, I don't know, I guess not allergic to eggs, but he can't have them because they make him not feel great. And I actually gave him some of mine and completely, completely fine. And because that's what same thing with like meat. Like people tell me like, oh, I can't have meat because pesticides, this, that. I give them some deer meat and they're like, oh, that was great.
Yeah.
So it's really, I don't know. Like I feel like a lot of these like sicknesses and viruses and stuff are like because of the new food that we're eating.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, not necessarily that eggs are new, but the way that we're producing them. Yeah, preparing them, producing them. Just like the way that the animals are living, obviously is not a good situation.
They're eating soy and corn, which is the most genetically modified food in America. It's like 90% of soy and corn are genetically modified filled with herbicides and pesticides. So you always want to make sure you're buying organic.
Right. And
soy products, corn products.
Pasture raised.
Yeah.
Because there's a difference between cage free and pasture raised.
Yes. But you also people are going to hate me. They're like, this girl's so negative. She literally has a whatever condition for everything. I mean, and it sucks like that we have to do this, but this is the world we live in now. And it could say pasture raised and not mean that.
Yeah.
So calling the company of where they come from, I think there's a website. I think Cornucopia, I'll send it to you, but I think it's like Cornucopia caged eggs. It like tells you, it rates all the eggs in your grocery store of like which ones are better for you and which ones aren't.
Right. Or just get chickens.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it was probably the greatest like addition to what I would consider the Fit Farm.
I love that.
And actually, so on Joe Rogan's podcast, he had a regenerative farmer on, and they were talking about chickens and how
it's the first thing I get when I move in.
I don't remember where it was, but there was some county here. I think it was I'm pretty sure it was in America, who they basically like asked their, the residents there, like who wants chickens. So every household who said yes got 3 chickens. So they gave out 6,000 chickens, right? Wow. For the county. And they, in 1 year, right, 365 days, they decreased their the amount of garbage that goes to the landfill by 70%.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So that means that 70% of the garbage that goes into your landfill could be like compostable, decomposed, or food for the chickens.
Yep.
And it's just
food shortage and food like waste is a huge issue in America. Yeah. We could feed the entire world just from our garbage.
It's crazy. And like, I mean,
and that's another quick fix, just getting a compost pile.
I was just going to say that. I don't know. I mean, I do know now a couple people, but I very rarely meet people who have compost piles.
I have one.
It's literally
my favorite thing ever.
It's the easiest thing to do.
Literally the easiest thing ever. It's probably easier than throwing it out in the garbage. Yeah. Because it doesn't make your garbage stink.
Right. You don't have to take the garbage out.
Yeah.
You just throw it into a pile.
Exactly.
And it does its thing.
That's mandated in some places of the world now too.
It's good. It should be mandated everywhere.
You will go to jail if you don't compost. Yeah. It's such an easy thing to do.
I think they should just give a tax break.
Yeah. They should.
Like an incentive to do this,
Yeah.
Like if you're continuously using X amount of garbage and you decrease it by X percent, like you get this percentage off of your taxes.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Something like that. Because like a lot of people are just like, oh, why? I'll just throw it out.
Half of our topsoil is depleted, and that's why we're literally going to be one of those scary The Happenings movies because
and that's another thing. I don't even buy soil for the garden.
Yeah, you don't need to.
I don't buy anything.
Yeah. So how long have you been composting? I just started.
I mean, so we've had a compost pile in my backyard since I was born.
Yeah, I had one
basically.
too for like lawns, like snippings and
Yeah,
stuff.
yep. All the
My
leaves
whole life,
and all that.
but I just started doing because I'm like into the regenerative agriculture life now, and I've just been putting like food scrappings into it.
Yeah,
and
paper,
I'm wondering,
cardboard,
yeah, I'm
all
wondering
that.
how long it takes to actually decompose.
So if you turn it, you'll be good in a couple months, 6 months maybe. Like if you, so that's what I do. So if you look at the compost pile outside, I have almost like two sides of it.
Yeah.
Right. I have like the original side, which is we had a chickens are all running.
I know. I was like, what is that? It's a chicken.
So I have like the original side. So we used to have a pool over here, and that like fence over there where the compost is behind, it used to be like the pool filter. So that's like side one, like the original side, and then I added about 8 feet for like the second side, and that's
so you have like one side that's composting and the other side that you're like building up.
yeah, exactly.
That's what I was thinking I need to do, because I'm like, well, if I want this to compost, I probably shouldn't be continuing throwing food on it.
Yep.
Because then it's not going to ever compost.
Yeah. So what I do is I'll fill one side up, and then, the between just decomposing and rain and stuff like that, it
Sinks down.
Yeah, settles a little bit, and then, I mean, I'll leave it like that for a couple weeks, and then what I'll do is I'll take basically every time I clean out the chicken coop, I'll put all that on the fresh side, and then some leaves and sticks. Oh my God. COVID, and
need some vitamins.
Basically just turn it over. So I'll take all the stuff that was decomposing and I'll put it on top of the hay and stuff from the chickens.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I'll do that a couple times a year. I'll try and turn it like maybe like 3 or 4 times a year.
Okay.
Just like, so by the time summer comes, like I know
You're
I
ready
have
to
dirt.
use it.
Yeah. Because I've done it a couple times, like where I just left it and then I come back and it's like
potatoes.
it's just like big bricks of like leaves.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, oh, it didn't even like compost.
Do anything,
It like kind of compost, but like mushed together.
Mm-hmm.
So you definitely have to turn it and just
I
keep.
have to turn mine and start another one.
Yeah,
I have a lot of, I only eat vegetables really now, so I get a lot of scraps.
Yeah. I mean, it's good though. It's because it's just going to feed, the future.
Yep. They also say breathing in that environment is the best thing for your gut.
Or walking it barefoot.
Yep, or that too.
Yeah.
But like breathing it in brings those bacteria, and that's all good bacteria. And that basically is a probiotic right then and there.
Yeah.
So they tell you to go in as many different environments as possible and just take really deep breaths in those environments, because you're getting all different microorganisms into your body.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But I definitely walk in it. Like I try, like, so I kind of think of the same way for your feet. I try and walk on as many different surfaces in one day as I can.
Yeah.
Barefoot, obviously. In the winter, I have like my barefoot shoes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did rocks down the middle of the garden.
I know. I saw
year,
that. That was cool.
So you could walk. It was a good idea.
It
didn't plan out. It didn't.
Well, our garden didn't last longer than a month because
No?
we had that crazy storm.
Oh.
My boyfriend lives on the water, and we had a crazy storm this summer, and all the salt water killed everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it
that'll
was
do
sad.
it.
We had like one good harvest, and that was it.
Should make a raised bed.
I know.
Like
We also just put too much in one spot, so we need to.
So that's another
expand.
thing with gardening or farming, whatever you want to call yourself, is that you can't overdo it.
Yeah.
Because like
We definitely overdid it.
so what I've noticed, like I've had this garden, I think like 6 or 7 years now, maybe more. But I've noticed that. So when you start with the plants when they're small, you're like, oh, look at all this fucking room. Like I can fit a ton of shit in here.
And then the cucumbers take over.
Yeah, and then like a month later, you're like, oh damn, like everything is like on top of each other. It's all growing in. So definitely, if you think it's enough, it's probably too much.
Yeah, exactly.
So kind of like take some plants out, and then also try and grow vertical. Like a lot of vertical. Like I did potatoes this year in vertical bins. All my viney, like crawling things, like
build up.
peas,
Jalapenos.
well, those are bushes.
Cucumbers.
Yeah, cucumbers, like viney things like pumpkin, squash, stuff like that. You grow vertically. You can grow on like a trellis, or I use this guy Connor Kirkmore. He's it's called Never Sink Farm. He's local. He's upstate, and he
Never
has.
Sink. I think Connor and I have. Do they have like trails and stuff? Never Sink.
I'm not sure.
Maybe not.
I don't know.
I think we hiked that.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can actually go there and go to the farmhouse, and like they have like food and wine and stuff like that. I'm definitely gonna do it this summer, but he has. So if you look outside right there, there's like the pole. You see how it has like that the wire going across from one pole to the other.
Yeah.
So that's like a vertical thing. So basically, that was for tomatoes this year, but I'm gonna do the same thing for my peas, for beans, like pole beans.
So springtime, I'm coming here and getting a lesson.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm gonna make a whole podcast on it. I'll probably do like a YouTube video, stuff like that. But
because like you said, it's so easy, and
it's
the more plants you have in your garden, the less you have to buy, and the better it is for the environment. And
I try not to go to the supermarket.
Yeah.
Like I've been there twice since March.
In the summertime.
Yeah. Well, even now I've been there twice since March. I have eggs and meat. That's all I need. Like I don't really eat much else.
The carnivore diet.
Yeah. I mean, 100%. And then like in the summer, I'll eat more vegetables because like I have them in my backyard. But I like peppers. I'm a big fan of jalapenos.
That's it.
Yeah. That's really
no broccoli.
I don't really like broccoli. I like the green like leafy part of broccoli. I don't like the stems.
Really?
Yeah, no.
Stems are so sweet.
I'm trying to think what else like I grow. I like tomatoes. I'll eat like the snap peas or beans. Like I'll eat them raw. Like I'll just come out here and I'll just pick them and eat them. But I'm a big like fruit person. I I have a couple apple trees. I have pear.
I'll have to bring you a raspberry. I have a huge raspberry bush.
Yeah, I got tons of raspberries, tons of blackberries, blueberries, strawberries.
They say that the Long Island soil is the best
for berries. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. Berries grow really good here, and you get 2 flushes out of them.
Yep, right in the beginning and then right in the end.
Yeah.
We had raspberries up until like November.
Yeah.
We were picking them.
Yeah.
We had a warm fall.
We definitely did. But I like berries more than berries. I like fruit more than I do vegetables.
Yeah.
So if I could have like a full fruit farm, I would definitely do that. But that's why I like the apple trees. Like they're low maintenance. You don't have to do shit for them.
Low sugar.
Yeah.
Low cal.
Yep. And you get I haven't gotten any of my fruit trees yet because they take like 3 to 5 years to like mature.
Yeah.
So
Connor's parents had an apple tree and it never developed
really
good apples. It did, but like worms got to it first, or like birds got to it, or squirrels. So sorry to get your hopes.
I've actually,
but I'm hoping that's not the case for you.
Well, when I was younger, like we had apple trees, we had crab apple trees in the middle of the yard, and they would produce thousands of apples, like thousands.
That's awesome.
So I'm praying that it works.
Yeah.
But also, a lot of people don't know that some apple trees or just fruit trees in general, they need a partner, like they need a cross pollinator.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't just buy one apple tree and
expect to get apples.
Unless like your neighbor has an apple tree, because then you can get away with it. But you need multiple fruit trees together to pollinate each other.
That's the same as zucchini too.
Really?
Yeah. Apparently.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Corn is the same way.
Interesting. I'm sure a lot of them are like that.
Yeah. Because corn, I know I pollinate it myself. So what I'll do is I'll cut like, so you ever see like the top of the corn and it's got like those like
the like hairs.
Yeah, no, like the top of the plant, and it kind of looks like wheat. It has like those like little like whatever the fuck they're called. So what I'll do is I'll cut one of those off one of the plants, and then I rub it on every other one of them, because then like that's where the pollen is. So that'll now pollinate all the other plants. Some corn you have to, some you don't. Yeah, it's interesting.
I can't eat corn.
It's a lot to learn.
I can't eat anything though.
No.
Well, think about it. Corn doesn't digest in anyone.
Yeah, that's true.
Let alone someone with a compromised stomach.
Yeah.
So.
Well, grow corn and then you can bring it here for the chickens.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of my vegetables now I just give to the chickens or clients.
Smart.
Like when they leave, I'll just give them.
Because you don't eat them.
Yeah, because I don't eat them. I like to grow them. I just don't like to eat them.
Start putting in smoothies.
I like zucchini, like squash, stuff like that.
And you get down the lectin diet.
Beets are good.
Yeah, beets are good.
I like root vegetables, so beets. I like potatoes. I don't know. I'm not a big vegetable person. I never was.
Yeah.
Like, even when I was little, I fucking hated vegetables.
Well,
Yeah.
gotta prepare them better.
Yeah, definitely.
Air fryer.
Air fryers.
There's game changer.
King. Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah,
They needed a award too.
definitely. They need to make bigger ones.
Oh, I have a big one.
Really? I have like a little fucking...
Mine's like an oven.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I think Bree has the same one.
Yeah, it's
the
the
Ninja?
best. Yep.
Yeah, she's got the
I
same
live
one.
in a little cottage, so I don't have a full kitchen, but I can cook a whole like loaf pan of something in there.
Hers is actually not an air fryer. She got the one without it because they already had an air fryer.
Gotcha, yeah.
But
it's nice having it all in one because it's like an air fryer, a broiler, baker, roaster with a dehydrator. Yeah, it's all everything in one.
It's like the Traeger grills of the kitchen.
Yeah, literally. I've never tried like the dehydrator yet though. I've been meaning to.
Make some jerky.
Yeah.
There you
or
go.
some chips.
Yeah. Some potato chips or parsnip chips. Good. But yeah, just like root vegetables I like.
Yeah.
Not a fan of vegetables.
You got to get them in. Micronutrients, baby.
I know. I'll just be like
Phytonutrients.
I'll just be like everyone else and take a green shake.
Yeah. You could do that. That's honestly, it's better than nothing.
I mean, I take a liver supplement now, like a or whatever they call it, dehydrated liver capsules, just because like I'm not a fan of eating liver. It's fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
I don't know how people do that. I'll grind up liver into the ground meat, and I'll just mix it in.
Mix it, yeah.
Yeah, so you don't really taste it. You don't taste it at all.
Actually, it's not liver, it's liverwurst. My grandma used to make it, and I used to love that as a kid.
Ugh.
Yeah.
It's gross.
But now I don't eat
like that and bologna.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, that's fake.
Yeah.
Well, I guess liverwurst is probably fake too.
Yeah, I mean, all cold cuts are.
Yeah.
I've never seen a turkey that's a square.
Yeah.
You know. But
so funny.
Anything else you want to talk about? Hour and a half.
I know, this is good. We'll have to come back on and do more.
Oh, definitely.
'Cause I love talking about this.
Definitely. Try and get Bree on here.
Yeah.
Talk about her
nursing experience.
Yeah. And then also just I'd like for her to explain like what she went through, like with you and all that and stuff.
She was like the best client. She was like, "Oh, a week later, I'm done. I'm cured." I was like, "Perfect." She didn't even want to start putting food back into her diet because that's how good she felt. Yeah. So, and that's how I felt. I was like, I don't either. I'm bad because I'm not practicing what I'm preaching right now. I didn't put any new food. I mean, I've definitely tried like new vegetables and stuff, but like the common 8 foods that you eliminate, I didn't reintroduce really. So she didn't want to either. Yeah. But she's noticed like she was fine with eggs and she was fine with most of the nightshade vegetables. Now she's on to dairy, which she was like, I want to get good dairy before I'm not going to eat like regular traditional cheese.
We'll probably go get there's a farm out east that sells raw milk.
Yeah, perfect. So curious to see.
I think it's Leewood Farm, something like that. But yeah,
we'll have to all jam out.
Definitely.
Me, you, Bree, Connor, we'll hang out.
Yeah, podcast it up.
Yeah, that would be fun. You and Connor can talk about jiu-jitsu.
Definitely, some fishing.
And fishing, oh yeah. You can talk about fishing.
I might have a conversation or two about fishing.
Yeah.
To talk about.
Oh, he would be in all his glory. Please talk about fishing. I'm done talking to this kid about fishing. I
can talk about fishing any day, all day,
so
every
can
day.
He.
Yeah.
Oh my God, so funny.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for having me. This is awesome.
You. Before we get out of here, just plug yourself up. Where can everyone find you?
Mainly on Instagram at Optimally Fit. So OPTIMALLY_fit FIT. I hope I spelled that right. That's my main platform. I'm in the process of getting my website up, but so most people can reach out to me over there.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely go reach out to her. Actually, before I forget, No, actually, we went over that question. I was going to see if there's any questions on Instagram, but I just looked before. We actually touched on it.
Okay, cool.
All right. Go hit her up.
Thanks, guys.
If you guys need any nutritional advice and
functional nutrition, functional fitness.
Yeah, training.
Do it all.
You are a personal trainer.
Yep, personal trainer.
Yeah. So if you guys liked what she was saying, go check her out. Go work with her. She does a great job. Ask my girlfriend Bree. Peace.
Bye.
And that does it for another episode of RemyFIT Radio. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed listening, and if you think I can add any value to someone else, please like, share, and subscribe. If you would like to learn more or you are interested in my online lifestyle optimization course, head over to my website, www.remyfithp.com, and follow me on Instagram at @BRemyFIT.